Business.
Yeah, I'm here again. You guys are second me.
This is only my third time, I think, or something.
No, I think mine's about 3 too.
All right.
Pretty nice though, huh? We can get used to this.
I think I can get used to this. It's very comfortable. It's a very comfortable atmosphere. I like working with you.
Yeah, I think we have a little fun. And it's a good episode. It's going to be season 2, episode 25.
Get to talk a little bit about Apple too, my favorite subject.
Oh, my favorite brand.
Welcome to another episode of Strictly Business. I want to thank Tom and Nunzio for coming on. I'm Alfonso. Welcome to the show. And so we're going to do what we normally do and go right into the hot topics. First up, Springfield, Massachusetts is ranked #1 in Forbes City where the economies are getting worse. It's Forbes made this list up. There's cities like Sacramento, Orlando's in there. Another city in Florida I don't care about. San Francisco. And they pretty much, it's over because of the unemployment rate, the number of delinquent mortgages, and job growth projection all played into the assessment that they made. WWLP they wrote a thing on their website, and a lot of people that they interviewed said that they could see that. I honestly don't see it. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was getting better.
Well, I mean, it's all the numbers. Right now in the Commonwealth, Springfield was the #1 for foreclosures at the end of last year. The unemployment rate in January was 14.9%, which was the national average was 9%.
Yep.
So Springfield has challenges, but it also has a lot of opportunities as well. And I think that's where, you're seeing now there's talk of there's at least 3 people that are throwing in their hat for mayor, but there's even somebody else there's even talk of a 4th entrant. And I think what's happening now is people are starting to say, well, listen, Springfield's here, we have an infrastructure, we have the information corridor from here to Hartford, we have all these good things, but there's not that one linchpin that brings it all together. There's not that one thing that says, let's get businesses to come here. I mean, this is kind of like what you're doing with your show and things like this and other people that are getting behind it. Taking businesses in Western Mass and making them all work together in a way to build the local infrastructure, but there's not a lot of that in Springfield. There could be. I think people get married too much to there's a lot of violence. Listen, I grew up in New York. 17 people got killed before breakfast on a Saturday. You know what I mean?
Well, they're saying they said the net migration is 610 people that left just from 2011, the January till now. So they're saying people are leaving, and I mean it's just.
And they correlate a lot of the numbers to jobs that can instantly be created. So they attribute slow job growth because there's not any heavy manufacturing or industrial nature to this area, the Greater Pioneer Valley. Along with home sales dropping still.
Yeah, but you still, even with the businesses and things like that, I mean, just because there's not manufacturing, years ago Springfield was Silicon Valley before Silicon Valley was Silicon Valley. So we have a great technical infrastructure here. We have great minds at the social media businesses. We have a lot of great, like Tortoise Technologies. They're coming out with new innovations to help local businesses and use the internet more. There's a lot of good companies doing good things, but I think people forget. That's just not Northampton and East Hampton. A lot of that work happens down here. And I think people need to look a little bit more down at Springfield before they just write it off and find out exactly what's going on. A great opportunity is the meetup to eat-ups that always go on every month. I mean, it's a good business owners get together, entrepreneurs, and say, what can we do to make the local economy better?
Right.
This is where we can start.
This Tuesday, by the way, the 19th. Nope.
That's today.
23rd.
No, 3rd is Saturday.
Tuesday, the last Tuesday of the month.
It's going to be on a Tuesday.
Yes.
You know where it's going to be.
But you know what? When we're messing this up, there'll be a date right here. It's at the Federal from 6 till whenever people want to leave. Go join us. I'll be putting about 3 or 4 extra seats on the reservation anyway, just in case people pop in. So don't be afraid to pop in.
And I think it's going to be a big one so far. At least I've seen at least 17 people that are down.
And I want to make one finally, so that's a goal for me.
There we go. On to the next one. There is a new rival for Groupon, and I think this is going to blow Groupon out of the water a little bit. It's called Deals for Deeds. They're based out of DC. It's a discount site that adds charitable twists to online shopping, supported both local. Well, right now, just because they're only based in DC, supporting local businesses and nonprofit causes. So this is kind of like social good to the nth degree. It's pretty much, it works somewhat like Groupon, Living Social, and Woot.com, those kind of things, but portion of their profits, they donate. And it's just a minimum of it is 5% of every purchase gets donated. So, I mean, this is great.
And I like this because there's an incentive.
Exactly.
I mean, people, how many emails, I don't know if you guys have ever signed up for Groupon or any of those kind of like mass deals, but eventually they end up not, in my spam folder because I just stop opening them because nothing really catches my eye. The incentive here is if you're part of that community, if you're part of that greater DC community, and you have an inclination to give back or you were going to plan on giving back anyways, it's kind of like, what am I getting and how can I impact it? There's that double-edged, incentive to get people to click.
And I think too, a couple things that's going to help this out is Groupon. I think too many small business owners just jumped on the Groupon wagon and lost their shirts for the promotions they were doing. At least the two guys that are running this are one step short of rocket scientists. If you look at their backgrounds, they want to work with businesses to find the best platform for them to help to do the most social justice.
Right.
So this is a great marrying of let's get the business owners some value and let's get back to the community. Unlike Groupon, which is they come in and listen, Groupon's fine. I know people have got a lot of good deals of it.
Oh yeah.
But I know business owners on the other end of it that just thought they'd get business from it, but didn't know they'd catch a wave of business that they did. So that can be
ice cream truck is
challenging.
But and the thing is, like Groupon, they keep 50% of the profit. The deals for deeds.
Okay, yeah.
They get only 30%. So the 20% is either given back to the business or donated. So they're not keeping half of whatever they make.
And they're bringing awareness to this too. If you visit their website, right when you go on, it talks about the businesses and the causes that they've already chosen. Champion. So, I mean, it brings awareness to these. And listen, I work in the world of nonprofit. There's a lot of great agencies that are out there helping people right now. But budgets, the economy, everything's affected right now. This kind of awareness not only, like you said, helps the business owner, but it also helps everyday people in the community that need it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Next up, S&P threatens to cut U.S. credit rating on deficit. Pretty much Standard & Poor's threatened to downgrade the United States prize AAA credit rating unless Obama administration and Congress found a way to slash the federal budget deficit within 2 years. I almost got away with not messing up any language. Yeah, that's pretty big.
You know what? And I know you may have a different take on this. S&P was one of the agencies that brought about the financial crisis that we had. They were basically taking rated F paper, what they did with the mortgage crisis alone. They put everything that were typically to have a AAA rated paper, you have to be very safe and everything like that. So what they did is they created these three buckets for mortgages, ones that were very safe, ones that were marginally safe, and the ones that weren't safe at all. And they put all this, package it together and made it a AAA rated bond. Well, people started defaulting on the mortgages, and obviously we've seen the story up to now. So I trust S&P about as far as I can throw this building right here. I mean, they really didn't, they basically handed out ratings for cash. And really they didn't do a good job whatsoever about it. We saw it, both them and Moody's, and again, if anybody would like to read a good book, it's called All the Devils Are Here, which describes the economic crisis. And S&P is basically the Adolf Hitler in this particular book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they really, and so I don't trust what they're saying.
All views are Tom Fox's and his alone?
Yeah.
Yes, they're not reflective of Alphonse's.
We have problems in the economy and we need to address a deficit, but I wouldn't let this, and this is a warning signal from them. It's not something that's going to happen tomorrow. We've got time to work on this. Moody's doesn't agree with it, but the more important part is what the fund managers do.
Yes.
If S&P just says, well, we're going to downgrade it, that's fine. Fund managers may go whatever, but if the fund managers actually start moving their funds out, which one did recently about a month ago, then we have to be worried about it.
And I think that's really interesting too, because if you think of the U.S. government's credit instruments, they've never their prize shiny part is that they've never defaulted on a loan. Essentially, that's what makes the dollar so strong without virtually having nothing behind it these days, right? There's no more of a gold standard. So for something like this to kind of come out, I think when you're talking about currencies, it's interesting because their credit rating, that AAA rating, or even just being, when you think of a treasury, you think of the warmest, safest blanket in the investment, bedroom. So for them to for Standard & Poor or these rating agencies to kind of get on the government as far as the governing, the bodies, Congress and the president, say, hey, you need to, clean up this deficit or we're going to take that away from you. I think that's kind of interesting. It provides motivations.
What they also did, what they categorized there too, which I thought was interesting, is they really weights this heavily on the coming problems we're going to have with student loan debt.
Yep.
Because right now, student loan debt finally surpassed credit card debt in our country, and it's I want to say it's hovering around $900 billion of student loan debt. We have an unemployment crisis, an underemployment crisis, and we got boomerang kids, 85% of which are moving back home with mom and dad after graduation come a few weeks from now. When they're looking at that part of it, that's where it really starts to get scary, because that is a real problem we're going to face. If you're not working, you can't repay your student loan debt.
Yeah.
However, I'd say take this with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
These guys are, again, they haven't had a good track record.
Yeah.
And it's interesting.
Next up, Subway is reducing salt in their sandwiches, their sodium levels in sandwiches by 15% across the board, all of them, and their Fresh Fit sandwiches gets an even 28% reduction, which is kind of funny. I think it's funny because their whole thing is they're fresh fit, they're all fresh foods, whatever, and sodium is not good for you, and they're high in sodium. So if you're thinking you're going to Subway to lose weight with these sandwiches, you're not.
You might as well just be eating ramen noodles, right?
Yeah, exactly. You might as well just go get a slice of Capri pizza. I mean, help everyone. Yeah, right there, right down the street.
There's product placement all throughout this.
Yeah, I know.
There's actually going to be a floating pizza slice just in there.
We just said, no, I'm about to go have pizza when we get out of here now.
No, but America has a problem with sodium anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good thing overall.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing something great, and it's kind of funny that it's coming to light now when they've been promoting the freshness for years now.
But again, I wonder if it's going to affect their inventories, because when you remove salt or sodium from something, if it's a preservative, are you reducing the shelf life, or are they focusing on moving more fresh than they already
They can give you
positioned
more
themselves?
than 3 slices of ham on a sandwich. Yes, they can move that
Yeah.
inventory somewhat quicker.
They are a little skimpy.
Yeah.
That's why I always ask for like extra cucumbers and extra lettuce and extra olives.
Oh, they'll load you up on that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
I say, can I have a topping sandwich, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next up, Apple is suing Samsung over Galaxy. Well, Apple is suing everyone and their mother, but they're suing Samsung, claiming Galaxy cell phones and tablet pretty much copied the iPhone and the iPad. They're saying they look really similar and all this stuff, and I'm just like, of course they look similar. They're a tablet. They all look the same. Like, I don't know, but they're saying that the packaging looks too similar, and they're violating patents and trademarks. And
But what's really funny is that Apple buys all of those inputs from Samsung. All the guts of an iPad and an iPhone are Samsung products, like those, the processors and motherboards. Samsung makes them. So they're suing somebody. They already do like really tight. They already have a tight knit relationship as far as like producer and manufacturer, and they're suing that part of their business that developed this proprietary Samsung Galaxy product.
I know you're a big Apple fan.
I despise Apple. And
So I
every
didn't
time
bring tablet.
every time I talk about Apple, I just say, please Google Foxconn. But this is an interesting one because they had the same kind of argument a couple of years back, but it wasn't regarding the trademark or the patents. It was regarding the operating systems at one point in time because they looked similar and things. Listen, how many ways can you make a tablet? I don't know, let's make it 15 pounds and put an elephant behind it. I mean, there's not much you can do with it. It's a tablet. The one thing is they copied they were arguing, the sunflower
icons
that they used for the. Listen, pretty much. Computers should be universal in a sense. I mean, how many phones do I have?
They're
and how
just
many
losing market.
adapters?
That's why they're suing. They're suing. Let's see. They have HTC, Motorola, Amazon, Nokia, Eastman, Kodak. I mean, they're just suing people, and they're suing obviously Microsoft for probably everything.
But this is the marketplace speaking right here. If you want to command the marketplace, then bring down the price point. I mean, you're talking about fully loaded. You want to get an iPad too. $8,000?
Yeah, but you gotta think the Motorola Zoom is also at $700 or $800.
Yeah,
it's not just Apple.
That's silly.
Oh, that's out of control.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can shop around. Effectively, what they're trying to do is block out the marketplace.
Yeah.
Saying,
No.
we want to be
They're playing around a monopoly.
But look what they do too. Again, their whole marketing strategy is perceived obsolescence. They made when the iPhone came out, not 6 months later they had another iPhone. A year after that, another iPhone. Another year after that, your phone could be. I know people with the first generation iPhone works fine. It rings. It does everything it's supposed to do. But now all of a sudden I got
It's
to
not
get the new
shiny
one.
and brand new, and it doesn't run.
They're
on
already
Windows.
coming out with the fifth one this summer.
If you go
No,
to
that's
the
not until January.
The oatmeal
January,
actually, the oatmeal actually did a very good cartoon based on the iPad and just how this person goes in like less than 10 panels from sheer joy to utter insanity because as soon as he's got his iPhone or 3G or whatever, 4G's coming out. And he's like destitute.
It's like the Best Buy commercial.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
insanity. This is the same thing here. So if Apple corners the market, we're going to have an iPad 7, like every other week they're going to come out with an iPad.
Yeah.
You need competition in these places, especially to bring down the price point.
And breed innovation. You know?
And
Yeah.
listen, and the one thing I will say, and I said this to Nunzi over here, I will say I love the iPad in youth education. I think it's a phenomenal teaching tool. But if you have school systems that want to invest and buy this for students or whatever it may be, you can't have these prices that high. If Apple doesn't want to reduce their price because they want to be, we are the upper echelon, we have to keep our prices up here. Then listen, don't
Don't
make
sell
it
them at
harder.
Toys R Us.
Yeah, and don't. That's right. They just started selling
Yeah,
Toys R Us.
yep.
Then don't fight with everybody. You can come in and put out a more cost-effective product.
Yep.
You breed innovation. You breed those things that bring the price point down.
Yeah. But all right, well that's all we have for today, guys.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much.
Pleasure.
And we'll be right back for Christina with the spotlight on the Alzheimer's. First time she's actually doing the spotlight and not sitting with us. So we'll be right back.
Still no pants.
Yeah. Sorry if I was chatty cat. I'm sorry.
no.
These subjects.
Cambridge Credit Counseling is a nonprofit credit and housing counseling agency located right here in Western Massachusetts. Our certified counselors can help you plan to pay off your credit card debt, explore your foreclosure options, and help you understand if a reverse mortgage is right for you. Call us at 1-800-CAMBRIDGE to learn how we can help.
And welcome back to Strictly Business. I am here with Christina Chappell. You guys all know her. She's been on the round table a lot. I don't remember how many times, but now we are
I
doing
think I meant like 10.
10 times.
Maybe not, but I'm just going to talk myself up.
Yes. But now we are actually doing a spotlight for her primary job, which is the Alzheimer's Association. So what is your role with the Alzheimer's Association?
My role is development and outreach officer, and I focus on fundraising and community outreach through all of Western Mass, so all 4 counties included, the Berkshires.
So what is the overall goal for the Alzheimer's Association?
The overall goal is to find a cure to one day eradicate Alzheimer's. Currently, it affects 5.4 million people in the United States alone. And right here in Massachusetts, there's 120,000 diagnosed cases because Alzheimer's is a form of dementia, so not everybody goes to get it checked because if, mom or grandma or grandpa start forgetting something, they're not very worried.
Yeah.
So that's why we say there's 120 diagnosed cases because not everybody's diagnosed. And in the western part of the state alone, there's about 20,000 affected.
Oh, wow. So what initiatives are you guys taking to prevent it or to get the awareness out?
Well, the Alzheimer's Association is really the leading voluntary health organization that provides research as well as support and care for families and individuals with Alzheimer's. So a lot of the money that we bring in goes to fund our research projects, and all of the care we provide to families and individuals is free of charge.
Oh, great. So, you say the fundraising aspect. What events do you have coming up for fundraising?
Every fall, and this is nationwide, every chapter has their own walk, which is the largest fundraising event for the association. So this coming September in Hampden and Berkshire counties, we'll have walks as well as throughout the state, but we'll have a walk here in Pioneer Valley September 17th and one in Berkshire County in Cheshire September 24th.
Can people start signing up now?
People can start signing up now. You can go to www.alz.org/MANH for Massachusetts and New Hampshire. And you can click on the walk and certainly bring you right to any of the walks in the 2 states.
Great. Is there anything else you want to tell the viewers?
It's a disease that's not going away, sadly, and the more that the baby boomers age every day, about 10,000 a day will turn 65, the numbers are going to go up. And by 2050, if we don't find a cure, it's going to bankrupt Medicare and Medicaid. So it's definitely a rising disease. And when we had the AIDS epidemic, there were about 900,000 that were affected with AIDS back in the 80s and 90s when it was an epidemic. There's 5.4 million with Alzheimer's today.
Wow.
So I think we're past the point of epidemic, and really the biggest way to support us is get involved and help us with our walks. We always look for sponsors and certainly teams to help us fundraise and bring that money in so we can find a cure.
Great. Christina, as always, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
And now we'll be right back. I want to thank everyone for coming on. Today was a great episode.